Ciao Milanisti, it's your boy Kush in the Milan corner. Finally guys, there's some life in this mercato. Milan is being linked with a huge profile in Hakim Ziyech. So in the previous video, I'd call that a rumor, but based on the latest reports, things have changed guys. These are some of the stories and profiles we're going to be looking at today. What happened to the Botman deal? Enzo Fernandez also slipped out of Milan's hands. And what was PSG's latest offer for Renato Sanches? We'll go over in today's episode of Rumor or Real. Alright, so Hakim Ziyech is a player that Milan has been interested for a while. Last summer in mercato, it was the same situation. Milan was fighting to get this player on loan. Things have changed a little bit over the years. So last summer in mercato, Tuchel was going to have his first full year at Chelsea. So he was curious in seeing if he could work with Ziyech. Now it looks like Chelsea are possibly interested in signing Raheem Sterling. They're also looking at Dembele as an option. If those players come to Chelsea, there's no chance they're going to be holding on to Ziyech. He's not going to have enough playtime at all. So Milan is obviously trying to take advantage of that situation. At this point in time, he still has a contract till 2025. So Milan is highly unlikely to sign him on a permanent basis, because a permanent fee for him right now would probably be in the 25 to 30 million margin, maybe even more. But there was one method that was perfected by Adriano Galliani: loan plus option. In this case, it might be a loan plus an obligation to buy the player in the future. At this point, Gianluca Di Marzio, one of the more trusted journalists in Italy, has confirmed that Milan have open talks with Chelsea for Hakim Ziyech. So in the previous video, I had rated this as a flat out rumor. I didn't think there was any chance of this happening, but now, guys, I'm gonna have to upgrade this from rumor to possible. Based on everything that I'm reading, it does seem like a possible profile, because Milan doesn't have to pay that huge transfer fee. Chelsea might even be possibly willing to pay part of his wages. So this deal for Redbird is perfect. They get that marquee player, they make that big signing, it's not gonna be very expensive, and it's a player we desperately need in those roles. He can play as an attacking midfielder, he can play on the right wing. So for me, at this point in time, Hakim Ziyech is possible, and it's probably my dream signing. And now before we jump into the new links with Paulo Dybala, I'm just gonna have to introduce you guys to the OneFootball app. Once again, guys, as I've told you in my previous videos, this is my one-stop shop for football information. Where did I find out about the breaking news about Hakim Ziyech to Milan? It was on the OneFootball app. Guys, if you're hungry for some good burgers, you're gonna call Uber Eats. If you wanna listen to some good music, you're gonna listen to Spotify. If you wanna learn about football, it's the OneFootball app that covers 160 different leagues in 16 different languages. That's your one-stop shop for football. So click on the link in the description and download the OneFootball app. The other big profile that Milan was being linked with was Paulo Dybala, and at this point in time, guys, I can't fully write that one off either. Now, do I think both Hakim Ziyech and Paulo Dybala would come to Milan? I think it's highly unlikely that both players join. But from the looks of it, there was some reports that Dybala is asking for minimum 6 million salary. No Italian club at this point in time is willing to pay him that amount. So at some point in time, he's gonna have to adjust his expectation. And when he adjusts that expectation, if he lowers his salary demands, there's a good chance that in the month of July, Milan is going to be going for Paulo Dybala as well. And I do think that that is possible. It's possible that Milan goes for Paulo Dybala. At this point in time, his move to Milan on the rumor or real meter, I'm still gonna stick with unlikely. But at this point in time, with Maldini and Masada's contracts pretty much getting firmed up, I think the mercato is going to move into overdrive from July onwards. And then there's the curious case of Sven Botman. That's a sad story, what pretty much unfolded. At this point in time, it looks like Sven Botman is going to be going to Newcastle United. I think he just ran out of patience. Eventually, Newcastle was offering them 40 million plus 5 million in bonuses. Milan was offering closer to the 30 million mark. So even if Redbird was there, and even if Maldini had the control, Milan couldn't really exceed it. It seems like Lille was insistent on getting the highest amount. Obviously, the pace at which Milan moved didn't help at all. But the player that we're now being linked with as a replacement for Sven Botman is Arthur Thiet. He used to play for Bologna. He's a Belgian international. The guy's made 3 appearances for the Belgium team already. We got Alexis Salamakers, we got 2 players from the Belgian league. Milan definitely seems to be interested in these players. At this point in time, he was on loan at Bologna. They then had an obligation to firm up on the deal they did, so they might be able to sell him at a profit for Milan, but that price is still going to be lower than the Botman price. Maldini likes his profile. I believe he can also play as a left back. So at this point in time, I think the Arthur Thiet reports, I think they are possible. I think that's a profile that fits Milan's requirements and abilities. He's young, he's not going to cost too much, and he seems to be a versatile player. And when Maldini goes for a defender, I'm just gonna have to trust him. So guys, we lost Sven Botman. We also lost Enzo Fernandez. The player has decided to move to Benfica. It was a report that pretty much lasted a day. Enzo Fernandez was linked with Milan proper for about 24 hours before he already got moved. So I'm not quite sure what exactly happened there and how quickly things unfolded, but the player that Milan is still hoping to land is Renato Sanches. At this point in time, it looks like there's something a little bit weird happening. So initially, PSG had made an offer to Lille for Sanches for about 30 million. They then possibly reduced that offer to 20 million, and they are now offering Lille 10 million for Renato Sanches. Renato Sanches still likes the idea of moving to PSG. I don't think he's totally opposed to it. He's seen what's happened with Botman now. He's not going to be able to partner up with his former teammate in Milan. So I think he's tempted by the PSG move. At this point, it does seem like Milan is still his priority. Now, as I already said, once Maldini and Masada's contracts do get renewed, it seems like they will have a little bit more power to make these moves. It seems like Renato Sanches is still being patient with Milan, unlike Botman. He still wants to make that move to Milan. We had initially started the Renato Sanches move to Milan as real. We downgraded it to unlikely. Then we kicked it up back to possible. And I think that's where we're going to stay right now. I think his move to Milan is still possible. The fact that he hasn't joined another club tells me that he does want to come here. Now it's just a matter of time before our management gets firmed up, before Milan can firm up on this deal. Lille were obviously tempted by that 45 million offer for Botman, but they're not getting a lot of money for Renato Sanches. Now, if Sanches doesn't join Milan, there's a profile that has been offered to Milan, which is Jordan Veretout from Roma. There are reports that Milan did meet with his team. He does have a contract with Roma until about 2024, so there's still a couple years left there, but apparently he's not a part of Jose Mourinho's plans. But in the last season, he almost had 50 appearances for Roma, so that sounds like a player that was definitely in the thick of things there. At this point of time, guys, I'm gonna have to call Jordan Veretout coming to Milan as unlikely. If I think Renato Sanches is still possible, Jordan has no space in Milan, so I'm gonna stick to that as unlikely. And then we have Charles de Ketelaere, a profile that Milan has been linked with for weeks. It's getting a little bit confusing now because we got a few attacking profiles being linked with Milan. If we got Paulo Dybala, we got Hakim Ziyech. CDK is not gonna be joining Milan. At this point, it looks like Charles does have a couple of offers from Leicester City. They have an offer from Leeds United, but both those profiles he's not really that keen on. And the reason he's not too keen on them, no Champions League football. He wants to obviously join a bigger profile in the form of AC Milan, but he also really wants to play Champions League football. He wants to take that next step. But at this point of time, guys, last time around, I think I had kept Charles de Ketelaere to Milan as possible. I think I'd upgraded that. I am going to downgrade that to unlikely. With the current reports of Hakim Ziyech looking so promising, I don't think Milan is going to sign him and Charles de Ketelaere. And CDK also prefers that move to Milan, but so did Botman and Renato Sanches, and we've seen where that's going. What do you think? Is there enough room in Milan's squad? Is there enough room for these two attackers with pretty much the same profile? They both play as right wingers and they both play behind the striker. Another profile that Milan was linked with was Douglas Luiz. That's a player from, I guess, Aston Villa, whose agent was at Casa Milan. A lot of people thought that was for him. It was possibly for Roger Ibanez from Roma, but I don't think either of those players are joining. So at this point in time, with the Douglas Luiz links, guys, I think that's just a rumor. I think that's just a backup profile, if even. Which brings us to the last profile from today's video, Hamid Traore. Now, Hamid Traore is interesting because I had him in my first rumor reel of the summer mercato, and I had put him down as a rumor. But some of the latest reports are suggesting that Milan is actually definitely interested in him. There's a former coach that he had at Sassuolo who also had certain comments about him. The fact that there's so much floating around in the news media about this one player being linked with Milan, with former coaches making comments, it tells me that maybe there is something there. His coach said something really interesting. He said that he's a very intelligent player, and they always knew that he was going to be successful because he was playing with teams that were 3 years older than him. So he was definitely ahead of his time. And seeing the fact that Milan are interested in him tells me that he's obviously a pretty good player. There are two issues with that. One is Sassuolo's pricing. We've already discussed that in multiple videos. They inflate the price of their players. The second issue that we have is all the other profiles that Milan is being linked with. CDK, Hakim Ziyech. Paulo Dybala is not really that. There are no concrete links there, but the name is being floated around. I just don't think Hamid Traore is going to be coming to Milan if that's the case. Now, at this point in time, it's going to be a little bit weird because in the rumor or real meter, I feel like some of the other profiles, they're more media made. Then I don't know how real that they are. I think the Hamid Traore links are possible. I think he could come to Milan. If Milan cannot sign any of the other players, I don't think I'm going to write off the possibility of Hamid Traore coming to Milan. There you have it, Milanisti. Those are some of the profiles we wanted to check out today, guys. Hakim Ziyech to Milan. That was my dream move 1 year ago. Is that possible? Can that actually happen? Make sure to let me know in the comment section. And make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the bell notification so you can watch some Milan Corner videos as soon as I upload them. And once again, follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at the Milan Corner. A lot of new messages, a lot of new followers. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the support. And as always, Forza Milan. Grazie mille e ciao tutti.